Yeah, 6:27 a.m. here on the West Coast, Northern California, Stockton, California to be exact, baby. 2 hours and 7 minutes past 4:20, Northern California. My name is Cherry Franklin, aka the Mistah. This is the Cherry Franklin Show. I'm hella mad already. I got here like at 5:30 something, 5:50. Anyway, long story short, it was like over 45 minutes ago. And we just now going live on TV, honey. It has not been a good day, a good night, a good week, a good month, a good life, honey. So, before I let my emotions dictate the conversation of this podcast, we are going to try to start smoking and get a head change immediately so that I will begin to give a fuck about anything else besides whooping ass because I'm that fucking mad. So, without further ado, we're going to play the theme song while y'all figure out if you want to listen to R&B or rap music. This theme song for the show is called Put It in the Air. The artist's name is Trapedo. 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 Featuring yours truly, your girl, Cherry, the Mrs. Franklin. This is the official theme song, Smoke Session, Hot Box, Wake and Bake, 420 song of the Cherry Franklin Show podcast. It did good for us the first year, so guess what? We kept it for the second year. And next year will be the third year, and I'm very excited to say my partner who made this song is still making music. And this is for the Record Friday, where we recognize the artist in a song. So today, let's go ahead and recognize the theme song, because I believe I have not given this man or this song the praise and the attention that it deserves. I just play it, we listen to it, we like it, and then we move on with our day as if we didn't just hear an amazing song. So, everybody, for the Record Friday, I would like to nominate Put It in the Air, aka In the Air, by Trapedo, featuring yours truly, Cherry the Mrs. Franklin. It's everywhere, mostly YouTube though. I believe it's on SoundCloud and YouTube, but our song is on YouTube. Type in The Cherry Franklin Show 2020 and our video will pop up. Without further ado, y'all, let's get into this session.
Hey, put it in the air, put it in the air, put it in the air, put it in the air. Everywhere I'm at, eyes on low, but I'm up there. Put it in the air, put it in the air, put it in the air, put it in the air. We rolling up with stickers. Everywhere I'm at, smoke in the air. We on the gas, she on the meat. We on go, I want the bag. Give me the cash. Go. Put it in the air, put it in the air. Put it in the air, put it in the air. We rolling up with stickers. Everywhere I'm at, smoke in the air. I think we rolling up with stickers. Y'all niggas be switching. Might like sit back and listen. Put the whole team on vacation. Jet white nigga on brand name. When I have the blunt, nigga, it's like a legend. Just like a brand land. We got some dead joints in the air. We do not have slow. We on the left. We smoking rap. So you need a test. Let's go. The Z-Man. It's the best time for the season. The home joint, no bleaching. I get to smash out a beat it. I'ma get mine, so I'm greedy. Shawty said she want me to eat it. I told her I'm vegan. Hey, Shawty, I'm super straight. I got the Mary J. That be my ace. You can add me to the race. Foot on the gas, so get out the way. You coming last, you a disgrace. Fuck with my stash, I be where you stay. When I get mad, I roll up the pay. Gas blowing on bait. Hey, put it in the air, put it in the air. Put it in the air, put it in the air. Everywhere I'm at, eyes on low, but I'm up there. Put it in the air, put it in the air. Put it in the air, put it in the air. We rolling up with stickers. Everywhere I'm at, smoke in the air. We on the gas, she on the mid. We on the go, I I want the bag, give me the cash. I want the low. Put it in the air, put it in the air. Put it in the air, put it in the air. We bumping up this video. Everyone has smoke in the air.
Blow in the car, the room, it go down. Ain't tryna no move, smoke come out. 209, yeah, that's my cloud. Blunt rotations, that's my crowd. He ain't gotta smoke his Cali. Put it in the wood, but she threw it in the valley. Keep on wax, on leaf on tap. I'll turn the team up at rally. Why you think they call me Cherry? I had Grace who sit in the blueberry. Mr. J, I'm coming with the Mary. This that thing, no air pack spare me. I got lungs like a motherfucking vacuum. Puff up, ass them pass, I'll tax you. That's just facts, no cat boo. I put it on wax for the pack food. It's written on me like a tattoo. Big circle like a battle rap tattoo. Like once, but I put it in a bag too. I like fronts, but I put it on a bag too. Don't do me. I keep 5 on it like the loonies. Hit your ass off with a 2-piece and go to me. So quit acting brand new like a groupie and just put it in the air, put it in the air. Put it in the air, put it in the air. Everywhere I'm at, everywhere I'm at. Eyes on low, but I'm up there.
Hey, yo, put the grants over there to safe, you know what I'm saying? Because we spending these Jacksons. The Washingtons go to wifey, you know how that go.
I'm saying that's what this is all about, right? Clothes, bankrolls, and hoes, you know what I'm saying?
Ooh. When I look at all the time that passed since all of these videos, it make me want to say this. Some of y'all men play games with folks that y'all don't need to play games with and terrorize women who literally did nothing to you to deserve to be terrorized. And I want y'all to know that. So before we go into the news and the podcast, I also want to tell y'all this what we say on here every day, the reason why we go live. And talk as opposed to just releasing music. I can record songs, freestyles all day and all night and drop them, honey. And go promote them and do stuff with them. I don't have a team that could grow and triple and quadruple and multiply my money the way I need it to. I'm only one person. Aside from that, the reason why we go live, honey, and talk instead of me just accumulating a team and working on music or maybe just assassinating motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? The reason why we do this instead of anything else, so that we can network and be together in our communities. With that being said, please visit change.org to vote or to sign the petitions. Change.org to sign the petition for the 4th stimulus check in the amount of $2,000. Monthly stimulus checks for $2,000. Change.org for the justice for the Stay Their Names hashtags. Justice for George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, Vanessa Gillen, Elijah McClain, Jacob Blake, Robert Fuller, Ma'Khia Bryant, Adam Toledo. Okay? Say their names. Hashtag on change.org. Also, the other website is not mdsave.com, vote.org. So change.org is for signing petitions, justice, calls rising to action. Vote.org is to register to vote and find out about voting information. When is the next vote in your city, in your county, in your state? There's one every year, not just every 4 years. I'm going to run it down for you on what you can find out and what you need to find out once you visit vote.org and change.org. So when you're voting, these are the things you want to vote on in your city, your county, your state. Legalizing businesses, the types of business licensing available, the number of business licenses available in your city. Public housing, low-income housing, homeless shelters, free healthcare clinics, Planned Parenthoods. Public transportation, sanitation, social distance, pandemic mandatory mandates, mandatory stipulations for every community, every state. Um, educational funding, school buses, free lunches, social distance learning, sanitation measures as well. The YMCA, the Boys and Girls Club, uh, propositions that are being written into bills and laws, Prop 22, Prop 10, Prop 17, and the politicians who are running for office, your mayor, your governor, courthouse officials, all of that, y'all, starts at vote.org. All right, so next, that was a little bit of information. Yeah, if you need to hear that again, make sure you follow and subscribe on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Uh, at Cherry Franklin Show, at the Cherry Franklin Show. Ooh.
Today is a special one, y'all. It's like for many reasons, but it's not gonna be an easy one. Because I got so much to talk about. I actually haven't even shared this with anybody, really. I mean, not even the crew. I came, today is kind of quiet. And just because there's
at first I didn't believe it. I was
Hold
like,
on.
obviously trying to destroy Dr. Cosby's rich legacy. Like, 34 allegations, probably only rate.
Yeah, because I don't know why my shit is glitching like that. But,
Last minute deal was just made in
bro, y'all gotta stop.
The Senate and the House just passed.
Whoa. So yeah, it's really hard to run a TV show.
A lot of developments happening in today's stimulus package update.
It's really fucking hard to run a TV show off of Wi-Fi internet in a warehouse with bad
and daily news update.
What is talking?
My youngest son, Zen Scott Cannon, right there. So probably before the show started in the summertime, Zen was born in June 23rd.
Y'all, this is Nick Cannon speaking.
And it was a great day. As y'all know, I got a lot of kids. And Zen's my youngest, and it was so exciting. And I got I did the introducing Zen photo, and so during the summer it was really exciting. But I always noticed, like, as he got 1 month was great. By the time he got 2 months, he was just like the most loving. We called him Z chilling. He was always smiling, always having just the most beautiful spirit. But I always noticed he had like a little, like, to me it felt like a sinus thing. It was like a cough. And I just wanted to check it out. Sometimes early on we thought, because babies get fluid in their lungs, so we thought he'll cough it out, and that's what they would say. But he always had this real interesting breathing. And then by the time he was 2 months old, I noticed, like, he's just the cutest little boy. Has these like big eyes. I also noticed, like, he had like a nice sized head. He had like I call it a cannon head. Like all my kids got really nice round heads. Like rock, roll, golden. Everybody had, like, even me, I had like a real like Cabbage Patch Kid type of head. So we didn't think anything about it. He had a normal cannon head. But I really wanted to, take him to the doctor to get the breathing and the sinus things checked out. So we thought it would be, a routine process. And we went in just to check his sinuses, and they actually said his sinuses were pretty cool. But then by the time we found out that he had another condition. And I think it was called, if I'm not mistaken, but it was like where it was fluid that was building up in his head, and that was the cause of his head was starting to get big. And when we found out it was more of they called it like a malignant tumor in his head. And so immediately we had to have surgery, brain surgery. We put a shunt in his head, and we were hoping for the best. You know, the shunt would go down, it was like a tube that would go inside and drain all of the fluid out, so his head would be normal, and you know, he would be able to function. But then the doctors were concerned, and when I say I have to thank all of the doctors at the Children's Hospital of Orange County, Chalk out there. They were beautiful nurses, the people, Trinity, the hospital care, all of those people. They've been and they were really educating and kind of letting us know everything that was going on. So we were faithful and hopeful for that time, and then it, you know, it was carried on. He was still just playing with all his brothers and sisters. We got to get an opportunity. I embraced every moment, because you know, something like that, you know, yeah, that was even them, like with all the other kids, and like I just got an opportunity to try to spend as much time. And I really want to say I'm so grateful to my entire family for coming together during this time and being so loving and not judgmental of me or any of those things. And I really have to say, Zen's mom, Alyssa was just like the strongest woman I've ever seen, because she never had an argument, never was angry, you know, was emotional when she needed to be, but was always the best mom, and continues to be the best mom possible. So I got to say thank you to my entire family, but specifically to Alyssa. And Thanksgiving, you know, because up until then, he was just like all my other kids, just loving and fun. But Thanksgiving, we had a interesting turn, and the process sped up, you know, and ultimately, if anybody knows how cancer is, it was cancer in the brain, and the tumor began to grow a lot faster. And so we knew that the time was so this weekend, you know, I made a valid effort to spend the most quality time I could spend with Zen. And we woke up on Sunday. Got to spend, you know, the weekend with them, spend the night, and we woke up on Sunday, and I was like, I just feel like I want to go to the water. You know, we're in close to the ocean, and you know, we kind of got a chance to go to the ocean. And usually on Sundays, kind of handle everything I have to handle with the family, and then I fly back to New York. I rush back so I could be here for you all. And so, you know, but I wanted to make sure that, you know, I had allowed the sun to rise and, you know, kind of hold my son. And in the happened the last, holding my son for the last time. But it was a beautiful setting and even to spend that whole day. It was interesting because even as I was holding him, I was still preparing my day as it normally went to come back and, you know, come here, and still I didn't know what it was going to be, but even by the time I got in the car and was headed to the airport, I had to turn around. And I turned around, and not only did we get to see the sunrise, but we got to see the sunset too. And I didn't know how I was going to handle today. I didn't know how, but I just really wanted, you know, I wanted to grieve with my family. You know what I mean? people who love you. I love you too. And I didn't want to make it about any pageantry or any of that type of stuff. So I kind of went back and forth for what I should do. But I felt like, I was always talking about, you don't just go through it, you grow through it, you keep pushing, you know what I mean? And I have so much faith in the Lord. I have so much faith in God. And I never, people were often telling me I should pray for miracles. And I did pray for the miracle. I prayed for the miracle of God's strength. And that's why I'm here with you guys today, because I know, he puts the most and heaviest weight on the shoulders of his strongest soldiers. So I'm here to show that I can fight for this. I'm feeling it. I'm vulnerable. I'm open, y'all, but I'm gonna make it through. And this is a special show dedicated to my beautiful son. Dr. Laura Berman is here. Y'all know she's my daytime therapist. She has helped me with so many things and so many areas in my life. And Dr. Laura has also dealt with some similar situations in her own life as a parent. So she's the perfect person to talk to. She's here today. I know so many people out there have experienced the kind of pain and grief that I'm experiencing right now. We all know it. This is that time, so you never know what somebody's going through. Hug your people, hug your family, kiss somebody, tell them you love them. It's the holidays, and we're here. We'll be right back.
Okay. So, I also wanted to share that because there's a lot of things in the media and the news every day that we could share and listen to and watch. But real life happens, and sometimes we need to measure um and value life from other people's experience as well. So y'all know Nick Cannon's youngest son passed away, and I watch Wildin' Out almost every day, every week. So, I just wanted to pay our respects as well, um, and let him speak about it, so I don't, or anybody else don't. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, um, wanted to take a moment for that on the show, and for his angel now watching over every single show he does. Zen, okay? So we're gonna move into the news. We had a lot of windows open, but they all started playing at the same time. Um, so give me just a moment, and we will pull them back up. We did have Ron Yates. We were considering Stephen Gardner. Um, I feel like there's a lot of funding that's being distributed but not available to head of household income earners, more like organization and employees of. So, if y'all do have information of any stimulus funding that has been, or is rumored by an official to be distributed and sent out, y'all let us know in the comments or message us the links or whatever if you're not comfortable commenting. Hopefully, Ryan Yates has some good news.
A last minute deal was just made and the House just passed it. A lot of developments happening in today's stimulus package update and daily news update. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell making a new deal on the debt ceiling. What's this guy up to? Exclusive. Senator Joe Manchin in talks with Republicans over changing Senate rules to make passing bills easier on all of us. Another one to watch out for. And of course, I didn't forget about the stimulus package. Both Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi just doubled down on their Christmas deadline. Let's hear what they have to say. All the details in today's video. You don't want to miss out. You guys are watching the Ron Yates channel, your #1 source on all things stimulus, the U.S. economy, inflation, and the best money news and money opportunities that are available on the web. Glad to have you guys here. And if you're new to the channel, I definitely recommend you guys hitting the subscribe button, join the family, and tap that notification bell. Oh, and I just want to thank you guys for always supporting the channel by smashing the like button. I love it. I really appreciate it. I cannot thank you guys enough. All right, let's jump into the latest news right now. All right, guys, so breaking news, Senate leaders Chuck Schumer as well as Mitch McConnell, they just cut a last minute deal to essentially swerve America away from the debt ceiling cliff that we've been heading towards. Now, according to this, Schumer and Mitch McConnell have essentially reached an agreement to create a one-time process that would let Democrats raise the debt ceiling on their votes all by themselves. So the deal is basically a Republican-supported express lane that will let Senate Democrats act on their own in order to increase the debt limit with 51 votes. Now, I don't think that Mitch McConnell gave in that easily. Part of the deal is that the Democrats have to basically sign on this big number they're raising the debt ceiling for. This is right in time for midterm elections when we can expect Republicans to rub it in people's faces and basically say that Democrats are behind all the deficit spending and inflation. Now, you guys know I'm pretty neutral here. I'm not Democrat, I'm not Republican here, but this is basically what's happening. Now, let's just say that the tables were turned. I'm pretty sure the Democrats would play the exact same game. I'm just reporting the news. Now, part of the Schumer-Mitch McConnell deal is even specifying the exact dollar amount of a new national debt limit, likely north of $30 trillion. Schumer just made the announcement here.
Okay. First, I'm just going to say a brief word on the debt limit. Our concern all along has been doing this through a process that is, we were worried about a process that would be convoluted, lengthy, and risky. We believe we shouldn't be doing anything that puts our full faith and credit in jeopardy.
Good morning, y'all.
Our goal has been to increase the debt limit. We want a simple majority without a convoluted, risky, lengthy process. And it looks like the Republicans will help us facilitate that. So we feel very good about where we're headed.
8,950 diamonds. Heart reactions. Thank
letting
you.
Democrats carry it ourselves
6,700
is what we've always said, and that's the direction we are headed.
Now, let's take a closer look at what happened and what Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell may really be up to. 2 months ago, Mitch McConnell sent President Joe Biden a letter containing a warning so important that he repeated it 3 times in 5 paragraphs. McConnell repeatedly said that he would, quote, not be a party to any future effort, end quote, to help the Democrats lift the debt ceiling. But here he is now, the same Mitch McConnell offering an off-ramp collab with Schumer and even rustling up some Republican votes to help the deal along. But what's up with that? Well, this analysis says that McConnell's decision to fold again on the debt ceiling arises from a position of political strength, not weakness. McConnell probably sees the lay of the land like this. Biden's approval rating is in the toilet. The GOP scored a major victory in last month's elections in Virginia and nearly an upset win in New Jersey. Democratic infighting has kept the president's already shrunken economic agenda stalled in the Senate. If Democrats are intent on hanging themselves before the midterms next year, McConnell has determined that his best move is to hand them a rope and get out of their way. One McConnell expert put it this way. Quote, as he looks ahead to next year, he loves what he sees and doesn't want to do anything to rock the boat. He wants to keep the focus on the Dem-on-Dem violence, end quote. The sooner that he can do the bare minimum with Republicans, the sooner the spotlight will be back on the
Democrats fighting. One expert put it, quote, with as few fingerprints as possible, end quote. Gotta say, guys, these are some slick moves from Mitch McConnell that I haven't seen in a while. I guess he survived the Senate this long for a reason after all, right? But let's talk about this some more, guys. What do you really think about Mitch McConnell? Drop a quick comment down below. At the very least, we're hoping to see the Senate do their jobs and steer us away from the debt ceiling cliff that we've been headed towards.
The president
Millions
is
of Social Security recipients, military personnel, and federal personnel can breathe a little bit easier now,
Trump
at least until after the midterm election next year. Let's hear some more of those debt ceiling details here.
Donald Trump
And I'm Adam
supposedly
Shapiro.
made
We will
shit
be watching
happen.
the
That's how
markets
fast they
rally all
could be
day as
making
we head into
shit.
the last hour of trading. There is news breaking that could help sustain the rally. Let's get to Jessica Smith in Washington, D.C., because it looks like we have a deal to raise the debt limit.
Party
Jessica?
instead of
Senate leaders say
Republican
that
now.
they have come to a deal that
That's
would
the
allow
reason?
Democrats to raise the debt limit without any Republican votes. Leaders McConnell and Schumer have agreed to a new bill that would allow the Senate to raise the debt limit with just the majority votes, that they'd need those 51 votes instead of 60. So the plan would be to pass a bill to temporarily suspend the filibuster rules for a short period of time. They'd be able to do this with just the majority vote once. Democrats would not be able to raise the debt limit like this repeatedly, but they would also raise the debt limit by a specific amount. So
I do a
what we're
lot of
hearing is
talking.
roughly
Imagine how much
$1.5 to $2 trillion that
arguing
would
and
likely
debating they
take us
have to do
after
for
the
this money.
midterms next year. The House is expected to vote on the bill that would lay out this process. It would allow this process at some point this evening. Timing is still up in the air. And then it would head to the Senate, where it would need 60 votes to pass. But Minority Leader McConnell said he is on board with this deal. So they need 10 Republicans to vote to allow this to happen. And then after both chambers pass this bill that lays out the process, they would also have to pass the actual bill to raise the debt limit. You'll remember that date that we're all watching is December 15th. Lawmakers are trying to get this done before that. But again, it looks like they have made a deal. The House expected to vote on this process as soon as this evening. Guys.
All right, Yahoo Finance's Jess Smith, thank you so much for that breakdown.
McConnell is predicting that this is going to be an easier swallow for Republicans. In his words, quote, I'm confident this particular procedure, coupled with the avoidance of Medicare cuts, will achieve enough Republican support to clear the 60-vote threshold. And when people asked him about his U-turn from his earlier stand on not helping the debt limit along, McConnell replied that there hasn't been a change at all. Quote, the red line is intact. The red line is that you have a simple majority party line vote on the debt ceiling. That's exactly where we will end up. McConnell believes that the Republicans would be more willing to vote to create a new process on the debt ceiling rather than raise the debt limit itself. But he's facing pushback from some of his colleagues who believe that he's giving in too quickly to Democrats. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham said, quote, I don't think that there will be 10 Republican votes to allow the Democrats to raise the debt ceiling, end quote. Now, other Republicans are also voicing concerns about the precedent that this is going to be setting for raising the debt limit. They also didn't like how it was coupled with the more popular Medicare bill. Senator Kevin Cramer said, there's a lot of concern that no is a bad vote and yes is a bad vote. Now, overall, though, I think we're going to see those 10 Republican votes come in. McConnell wouldn't have made this deal if he didn't have the votes already in his pocket. Number 2 Senate Republican John Thune said that the bill would ensure Democrats have to, quote, own this massive increase in the debt that's going to accommodate all of the new spending that they want to do. Now, it also hits the Republicans' top priorities on this issue. It would require Democrats to approve a specific dollar amount increase on their own. It would allow fast consideration on the floor, and it would prevent a damaging default. Senator John Conran is in too. He said, I'm going to support having the Democrats raise the debt ceiling without any Republican votes. It accomplishes the goal of having Democrats raise the debt ceiling and be held politically accountable for racking up more debt. So the blame game is on yet again. In fact, the whole thing's already underway. The House just took the first step and passed the vote to set up the debt limit process. The final vote was 222 to 212. GOP Representative Adam Kinzinger was the only Republican to join the Democrats in voting for the bill. The Senate is expected to pass it before the end of the week. No stalling tactics allowed. Democratic Representative Stephen Horsford, he said that during the House debate, quote, increasing the debt ceiling will prevent us from defaulting on debt we already owe. It's about investments that the Congress previously approved. House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer also stressed the deadline that we're facing. Quote, the 15th is the date that I am using as the last possible day that we could act, whether or not that is the actual case, because we don't know the revenue flow at any given day. What's not up in the air is the sense, I think, in both the Senate and the House that we need to act this week. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has also said that December 15th could be the X date for the debt ceiling default. Now, according to her, that's when there may be scenarios where the United States might not be able to pay all of its bills, increasing the risk of going into default for the first time in U.S. history. She even went so far as to say that going into default would eviscerate the economic recovery. Now, we're going to stick close to this one, guys. More on this one in my coming updates. Now, it's also good to note here that there is a stimulus angle here that other channels are missing out on. We're talking about lawmakers here, as in they literally make the laws. You heard what they said. This is a first of its kind process that they're just setting up just for this. My point is this. If they can do this for the debt ceiling, why not for stimulus, right? In fact, we could already be seeing something happening behind the scenes right here. Just take a look at one of the headlines we found. Manchin quietly discusses Senate rule changes with Republicans. Now, according to this, Manchin had reached out to Republican leadership to float potential ideas with an eye toward making it easier to get votes and bills to the floor. Number 2 Senate Republican John Thune said, quote, he's trying to come up with some fairly, I would say, creative ideas about the rules. Manchin was just asked about these changes and he said, quote, I've been talking to Republicans and Democrats. How do we make the place work so that we can treat each other like human beings and try to get something accomplished and do the job we are supposed to do? End quote. This is what I'm talking about, guys. We know that 80 plus lawmakers support recurring stimulus checks for the American people. Vice President Kamala Harris wrote a bill herself for recurring stimulus checks when she was still a senator. We heard from the White House how Biden could be open to a check as long as it passed Congress. A big reason why we haven't heard about it more is because they know they're probably going to get torpedoed by the 60 vote requirement in the Senate, aka the filibuster, aka we need 10 Republican votes just to pass this dang thing. Now, with these rule changes that they're working on, we could see the stimulus picture change in our favor. I mean, we have seen a last minute stimulus check before. It was December last year, in fact, when the second stimulus check came in on the 11th hour of negotiations and was passed before the new year. Who knows? Maybe we could see another Christmas miracle this year. Fingers crossed, guys. Now, even if we don't get that, there's still a $1.75 trillion Build Back Better bill that we can look forward to for this Christmas. Now, just recently, both House Speaker Pelosi as well as Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, they said that they want this done in time for Christmas. Here, watch this.
We are on our path to get the job done for the American people. And we feel very confident about what is in Build Back Better. We know what some possibilities are. And it would be my hope that we would have this bill done before the Christmas vacation or holiday.
So in the first few days of December, we've successfully avoided a government shutdown. We've cleared the path, hopefully for addressing the debt limit. And as I mentioned, I'm optimistic that NDAA will soon be settled. None of these are easy accomplishments, but we are clearing the path for Democrats to turn to our biggest domestic priority of the year, passing President Biden's Build Back Better Act before Christmas. Later today, 4 Senate committees will release the final text of their portions of Build Back Better, along with CBO scores for each, as required by the reconciliation process. Those 4 committees are Commerce, Small Business, Banking and Housing, and Veterans Affairs. In the meantime, I continue to hold daily conversations with my Democratic colleagues, with the White House, with the Speaker, and House colleagues. We continue to make good progress, and we are still on track to vote on a final product before Christmas. The sooner we can pass Build Back Better, the better off American families will be as we start the new year.
Pelosi has already said that she's set to keep the House in session beyond the start of their supposed recess, just to adopt a...
Yeah, make sure you follow Ron Yates on YouTube for more of this video. Government stalling out. Y'all, this is a time for, if you work for the county, the state, the city, the government in any way, shape, or form, for you to write or email your Senate or your congressperson. Subject, you know what I'm saying? Funding. Stimulus, for stimulus funding. Emergency funding is needed. It's an emergency. Americans are not able to get a job. Some need to be vaccinated. Americans are not able to earn as much wages as they want to or need to Not a lot of places still have business. It's a lot going on, y'all. It's the holiday season. Everybody's uh, needing for money, counting on end of the year checks and funding bonuses, income tax type things, and for next year, all types of stuff. Government stalling out. This is your time to write Senate or Congress, your governor, your mayor, even sometimes. Push them to do so as well. And get their friends to do so as well, etc., etc. This is the time. There's 2 variants of COVID. They'll be treating with the same vaccines for the original COVID while they develop other vaccines. They require or would like everyone to be employed or vaccinated. So, again, y'all, please do make a difference where you can, when you can. Please visit change.org and vote.org. We're going to say goodbye to Facebook and YouTube. We did over 30 minutes. Again, we did have a segment for the tragic loss of Zane Cannon, the youngest son of Nick Cannon. So y'all, make sure you cherish every moment as we go into these holidays. Make sure we value everything to the utmost ability, and you know, all of that, all of that. I see y'all. Hey y'all. We're going to say goodbye to Facebook and YouTube. You're beautiful. Your soul is beautiful. Your energy is positive. You're important to me, your community, your family, and your friends. And I love y'all. Thank y'all for being here and making me a top streamer. All of that, all of that, all of that.